Dear students, in my last lecture we studied about respiration, different types of respiration, then the respiration in human beings, different organs which comprises the respiratory system of human beings and their functions, the functions of different parts of the respiratory system. Okay, so now today we will continue with the mechanism of breathing. So how the air enters in our body and what changes takes place in our respiratory system when we breathe in air and breathe out air. So let us study it one by one. So first of all, when we breathe in air, the diaphragm present in our respiratory system, the muscles of the diaphragm, they start contracting and they move downward. This leads to the expansion of our chest cavity, and when the chest cavity expands, the air pressure gets down and air from higher concentration starts entering into the lungs where there is less air present. Okay, so where is the air present in higher concentration? It is present in the atmosphere, and when the chest cavity expands, the air enters into our lungs. Fine. This particular figure explains breathing in position of our ribs and diaphragm. You can clearly see here that whenever the we breathe in air, the diaphragm contracts, as you can see with the help of these arrows, and the chest cavity present in our respiratory system or in our upper surface of our body, it starts expanding, and due to this the air enters in our body. Now the process of breathing out of air. So when we breathe out air, again the diaphragm muscles play a major role. They now relax and they move upward. As you can see in this figure, the diaphragm muscles relax and they move upward. Now they have moved upward. Due to this, the chest cavity contracts. When the diaphragm muscles move upward, the chest cavity contracts and air goes out of the lungs. Okay, so these are the two activities which our body is continuously performing while breathing in and breathing out. There is continuous movement of diaphragm and rib cage of our body, and it is due to the performance of diaphragm and our rib cage or chest cavity that we breathe in and breathe out air continuously. Now students, we have studied about one life process, that was nutrition. Then we studied about respiration. So we have completed two life processes. Now we will start with the third life process, that is transportation. So how the transportation takes place in human beings and how the transportation takes place in plants. We are going to cover both these topics. So first of all, we are going to take transportation in human beings. So in human beings, the main transport system is also known as the circulatory system. So what are all different parts which comprises the circulatory system? So the different parts which comprises of circulatory system are the blood flowing inside our body, the arteries and veins which carry the blood from one part of our body to another part of our body, the capillaries which are used for the exchange of gases in our blood, and then the heart, the main pumping organ. Okay, so we will study about all these parts of our circulatory system one by one. So today we are going to study about blood, arteries, veins and capillaries. So first of all, we will start with the blood. So what is the main function of blood? The blood which flows inside our body, it transports food, oxygen and waste product from one part of our body to another part of our body. Okay, That is why it is an essential component of transportation system in human beings, or the circulatory system in human beings. Now further, blood also consists of different components. So these components are the plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. We all have learned this in our earlier classes. So let us just recall whatever we have learned earlier. Number one is plasma. So what was the function of the plasma? Plasma was the liquid medium or the fluid medium of our blood, and this fluid medium is used for suspension of the cells. Whatever cells which are present in our blood are suspended in this fluid medium. It transports food, water, carbon dioxide, and nitrogenous waste from one part of the body to another part of the body. Now comes the cell portion of the blood. So red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets comprise the cell portion of our blood. So red blood cells transports oxygen. Red blood cells are red, or blood is red in color due to the presence of red blood cells, and in red blood cells hemoglobin is the pigment which helps in the transportation. It has great affinity for oxygen. It binds up oxygen present which we get in our body through respiration, and then since the hemoglobin present in red blood cells binds the oxygen, as it has great affinity for oxygen, it transports the oxygen from one part of our body to another part of our body. So red blood cells function is to transport oxygen. Now white blood cells. White blood cells protects our body. They kill the harmful microorganisms present in our body. So the main purpose of white blood cells, it is acting as a shield for our body. It protects us from the infections, it protects us from the microbes. Right now, as you must have heard in the news, that we all know that COVID is going on right now, and it is said that the people which are more than 60 years of age or 50 years of age, they are more vulnerable to catch the COVID infection. Why we are saying so? Because their immunity is less. Their immunity is less, their white blood cells are not working that much fine as they work in the young people. So their body is more prone for these infection, because the white blood cells main function is to protect the body, or to provide the greater immunity to our body. As we grow up, the function of white blood cells also keeps on declining, and our immune system gets less. It starts responding less frequently, as it was more immune as we were young. Okay, so this is the main function of white blood cells, that it protects our body, and it provides immunity to our body by killing the harmful microorganisms or different infections. Now comes the platelets. So what does the platelets do? They help in clotting of the blood, and they also prevents the loss of blood during injury. Now is the next component of the circulatory system, that is the arteries. So what is the function of arteries? They carry pure blood from heart to different parts of our body. Okay, so since the blood which is getting out of our heart through the arteries, it is having very high pressure. The heart is the main pumping organ of our body. Okay, so the blood present in our heart which moves out of our heart to get distributed into the other parts of our body, it is under very high pressure, and because the arteries have to cope up with this high pressure, that is why they are having very thick walls. Okay, and they do not have valves in them. Fine. Next is the veins. So as compared to arteries, veins carry impure blood from all parts of our body to the heart. So the impure blood which reaches our heart, it is through veins, and whatever pure blood which moves out of our heart and is distributed to all parts of our body, it is done with the help of the arteries. Okay, so these two blood vessels are very important in our body. The veins are thin walled and they have valves in them. Okay, so valves prevent the back flow of the blood. Fine. So this difference between arteries and veins also comes in the board examinations many times. Next is the capillaries. So capillaries are very fine, very narrow blood vessels which connects arteries and veins together. So their function is to exchange food, water, oxygen and carbon dioxide between the blood and cells. So all this exchange takes place through the capillaries. Fine. So today we have studied about the four components of our circulatory system, that is the blood, arteries, veins and capillaries. Tomorrow we will be studying about the working of the heart in detail. So today we will stop here. Thank you very much.